Hello and welcome to Charlie and Amrak's card channel. Today I'll be showing you my Salamangreat deck profile. It's quite an experimental one, just trying it out, trying to go for a different type of build. Used to be focused on negates, it's now focused on swarming field, setting up potential OTKs, but just getting damage out there. So we're starting. So to start with, 3 Salamangreat foxes. Basically, a really good effect on start. Excavating 3 cards, any a solid card, add it to your hand. Also, it's really good for back row removal, which this deck does struggle with. Then, Salamangreat Spinner, I run this at 3. Amazing combo piece. It's just to get into your combos and build up into your higher link monsters, really. I'd say Spin is probably it probably is the backbone of the deck. Then I run 3 Lady Debugs. Again, it's just an opener, is this one. It's just to get you into your combos. I mean, you start with Debug and then get Gazelle if you haven't got Gazelle in your hand. But it lets you search pretty much every single Cyberse monster in your deck, because majority play level 3s. Yeah, definitely amazing since they brought it to 3. Jaguar. Again, it's just for comboing, really. It's really good recursion, because when it's in your graveyard it can summon itself to a zone that the link monster points to by returning a card. It's really good for getting your Sunlight Wolves back. Also, if it attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing damage, but you never use it. Foul, again, another extender for your combos. When you summon a solid card, monster, sorry, you can summon this from your hand. Also secondary effective, stopping set cards from being activated this turn, but again, really good. Then there's the bread and butter of your deck, Gazelle. Who'd have thought that 1 card would make a deck so amazing? But it does. Basically, your ability to send your Roar and your Rage, or even send just another combo piece, another extender to the graveyard, it's just so versatile, basically. Then this is one that I've added recently. Salamangreat Mole. Never run this before, and I didn't think it'd be that good, but it is. This is basically, it lets you summon it to a zone link monster points to if you've link summoned this turn, which you pretty much always have. Its secondary effect in the graveyard is absolutely amazing. Shuffle 5 Salamangreat monsters back into your deck and then draw 2. That can literally be the difference between game. Then I run 2 Falco. I always run this at 1 normally, but I've started running it at 2. Just because, as I say, this is not a deck for negates. This is me more swarming the field. I'll show you, it helps me get into my XCs. Really good for recursion, lets you get a Salamangreat spell or trap from the graveyard when it is sent to the graveyard. Which, the thing with salads is they're always going to the graveyards because we're always linking them off. Moving a little bit away from my salad engine now, even though this does help. 2C Archiver. It's basically Spinny, but for if it's summoned to a zone, if something's summoned to a zone or monster points to. Same as Spinny, whereas it gets banished when you bring it back. It's just amazing. Hand graveyard, it's the same. You can combo off into other cards with it, and if you need fire cards, you just turn it into Balinks, basically. A lot of people don't run that anymore because of Mirage Solaire, but it's amazing. Moving on to hand traps. 3 Ash. Again, there is no deck that cannot benefit from Ash. It's just there to help you. And then for the last of the hand traps, it's a one of, but I do find it comes in handy. Skullmeister. It's there instead of Ghost Spell. It's a bit of a worse go spell, basically. But I like it. And it's a bit of a diversion from the normal end traps. Moving on to spells. 3 Will of Salamangreat. Now, I've seen people run this at 1, I've seen them run it at 2, I've seen them run it at 3. There is no need to not run this at 3. There's no reason you shouldn't be running this at 3. It is one of the best cards in your deck. It's just amazing for recurring your cards. I mean, why wouldn't you want a 3 Monster Reborn every turn, basically? Also, it has got a secondary effect where you can destroy it and you can summon quite a few Salamangreat monsters in the graveyard up to the link rating of 1 on the field in defence position. It's good if you've got a lot of normal salads in the graveyard, not so much links, but it's good if you've got a lot of the normal salads. But this is, I cannot stress how good this card is. 1 Sanctuary. It's just for the Balinks as search, really. It lets you reincarnate all your cards. It's amazing in your deck. It's something you need to run. But people can play around it because they're so worried about it getting ashed or about it getting destroyed. So people do play around it because you can link your monsters without it. Salamangreat Circle. Basically, it is Signet mining without the cost. Limited to 1. When this was at 3, it was insane. But it's such a good card. Basically, just lets you add a Salamangreat monster to your hand. Speaking of Signet mining, you run 3 Signet minings. These are not just good at getting you out of tricky situations, not even just good at getting you out of bricks. But it's a really good combo piece as well. If you send a Spinny from this, get Gazelle comes out straight away. You can send something else. You could turn this 1 card into a Heat Leo if needed. It's so good. If you opened with nothing and you just open with 1 of these, you're sorted. You're back in the game. Monster Reborn. I love this card. I'm one of the OG players. It's nostalgia. It's just as an extra combo piece. It's there to recur another monster, and it's there in a pinch if you need it. Because this deck just recurs like crazy. So adding an extra recursion is insane. I run 2 Call by the Grave. This deck, I'm not saying it struggles with hand traps, but it can do. Especially if you need that Balinks, if you need that search from Balinks for the Sanctuary. If they actually Balinks, you can chain Call by. Also really good if you're doing a mirror match because you can Call by their Balinks. And then just stops the protection. Then I run 1 Mind Control. I did run this at 2, but obviously due to the new ban list, I can only run it at 1. Again, it's just another way to help you extend your Steal Their monster and then link it into something else. Also, it helps with pesky beat sticks because this deck can struggle with beat sticks. I run 2 Raw. I have run it at 1. I've run it how it is now at 2, and I've run it at 3. I find 1, yeah, you can send it to the graveyard off Gazelle. But sometimes you just need to hard draw it because if they get rid of your Raw or get it banished, or you have to recur it through its secondary effect of when it leaves the field, it is banished. You've ruined it for yourself. Having 2 is perfect. It's consistent enough, and sometimes you just hard draw this and then you can send Rage. So it's just amazing at 2 in my opinion. Speaking of Rage, only run this at 1. I have run it at 2. There's no reason not to run it at 2. I just find that you don't really need this card to see it as much, but it is a really good send off of Gazelle if need be. Yeah. Moving on to the Link Monsters, to the extra deck. We're going to run 3 Balinks. So Balinks is, again, the bread and butter of this deck. It is absolutely amazing. Protects your cards, searches your Sanctuary, and it's there to link off other monsters. But yeah, these are definitely a must in the deck. I've seen people try and build a budget version of this deck, and they have like 1 Balinx. You can pick up the structure deck for like £12 for 3 nowadays with how cheap you can get structure decks. 3 Salamangreat Sunlight Wolves. Absolutely an amazing card. It's really good at recurring your spells and traps from the graveyard. It's really good at recurring monsters from the graveyard as well, because the majority of Salamangreat monsters are 1500 attack and less, and if a monster gets summoned to a link zone, this pointer lets you recur it. Again, I would never run a solid deck without Balinx, Sunlight Wolf, and Helios. Speaking of those, would never run a deck without this. Right. Most people run this at 2, and they say it's pointless to run it at 3. I completely and utterly disagree. I see why they run it at 2, because it's not a massive... you don't want to keep massively linking into this because it's so much material. But it's back row removal. It's beat stick removal, because you can use its secondary effect to target a monster and say you target Balinx in the graveyard. That monster then has got 500 attack. You can beat over it. The only issue when you have 3 is sometimes you don't see the 3rd and it's just taking up space in your extra deck. But more often than not, I find I need 3. It's again, battery removal is just amazing because it lets you shuffle back into the deck. Then moving away from the Salamangreat engine, Flame Administrator. It's basically there to just beef up your link monsters. This has got 1200 attack, but it hits the field and it becomes a 2k monster. There's not really much more to say about it. It's just there to beef up your link monsters. It's really good to end on a combo of, say, Sunlight Wolf and that, in my opinion. I'll show you these two together. Everybody knows this combo of Transcode Talker and Update Jammer. It's just basically if you're needing to finish your opponent off, or you wanting to just absolutely obliterate them, basically. Something I will say, always remember to activate this effect when it goes to the graveyard, because I have a lot of people at tournaments attack me with Transcode Talker and then go activate an Update Jammer's effect. Update Jammer's effect activates when it hits the graveyard. You need to remember that. Probably get away with it at locals, but not nationals or regionals. Then I run Amber Whale. I'm not a big fan of Link Force just because it gets rid of a lot of material. But I do find that Amber Whale is really good because if it gets destroyed, it recurs a level 3 Link or lower. Also, it gains 200 attack for every Link monster in the graveyard, and that's both graveyards. Then the reason I'm running so many rank 4s or level 4s is for these. Abyss Dweller locks you out of your graveyard, well, your opponent out of their graveyard, and Tornado Dragon for a bit of back row removal. That's brilliant. Yeah, so that's all I can say really about that. There we go. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been Charlie and Emrak's Card Channel. Link in the description to our eBay shop. We've just got a massive new stock in of Dual Devs. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you, and see you next time.